Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm back. I'm doing a hashtag tarot bartender. It's a VR to Sapling Tarot. I think they were the first one who did it. But a bunch of y'all have been putting up VRs, and I've had fun watching those, so I wanted to join in. And without further ado, the first prompt is an old-fashioned or your favorite classic-ish deck. And for that, I chose the Dark Mansion Tarot. This deck, I don't use this deck near as much as I should, but I love this deck because my husband bought it for me. And my husband bought it for me because he lost a bet. Something was going on, and I pulled a tarot reading, and, I told him, what the tarot reading said, and he said, pish posh, that'll never happen. Well, I decided to bet him that I and my tarot deck were right, and he was wrong, and he took me up on the bet, and he lost. So he had to buy me a deck, and this was the deck that I wanted him to buy me. And so I love this deck. I really do. It was the first, expensive indie deck that I had ever had. And I didn't pay a dime for it. It was given to me. It's a really good reader. It's just dark, and I don't know, I haven't used it this summer, but maybe I will after this. So that's the first drink, the first prompt. And the next is a gin and tonic, a no frills, straightforward, to the point deck. And for that, I chose the Trionfi della Luna. Yeah, it's a Marseille deck. It's a Marseille deck. And I love this deck. I can read it for anything, anytime, anywhere, and it gives me clear as a bell readings, which I think most Marseille decks really do, honestly. But I love this deck. I love the weird, creepy peeps. And I know some people don't like that, but I love it because it's weird. I love that. That's awesome. Oh no. Reversals. I dropped this deck earlier. He's probably mad at me. But yes, that's my gin and tonic, no frills, straightforward deck. Next is a spritz, or a deck to brighten your day. And, for that one, I chose this little guy. This is the Yonessa Yaus 6, the little deck. Every time I pull this deck out, it just makes me so happy, because it's so tiny. Oh my goodness. I just love that. And then you wanna shuffle. This deck just makes me so happy. It's so teeny. It's squirrely. It's awful to actually shuffle. But I love this deck so much. So that is a spritz. My spritz deck, my make me happy deck. Also, I suppose that now is a good time to interject and say that I'm not much of a big drinker anymore. When I was younger, I used to. So I know what some of the drinks are, but, some of them not really. Okay, on to the Dirty Martini deck. A deck that is strong and salty. This might hurt. This deck is strong, and this deck is salty. This is the indie edition, but it's available mass market now. And I think the quality is good. I don't know. But yeah, this is my strong and salty deck. This deck, it looks so soft and so sweet, but then like you get cards like that, and that, you know, that's a heavy hitter, you know. Also, this deck it's got kind of a tooge, you know, like, I don't know, maybe it's just we didn't get off on the right foot, I guess. But, you know, like, when I know that I'm in a mood and I need just a flat out like it or lump it reading, then This Might Hurt comes out. Let's see. Pina Colada deck, a deck for summer. I am on the Instagram, and if you follow me on the Instagram, you will notice that I have used Zeke's Arcana just a whole ton in the past month or so. I just have stuff piled everywhere. Oh my goodness. Anyway, yeah. Zeke's Arcana is my summer deck. It is cool. It is, I don't know, it's colorful. It's bright. It's fun. I love that Hanged Man. I just love this deck. It's a very fun deck. So, what was that? Oh my goodness, I've lost my place. Pina Colada deck. And look, it kind of even reminds you of a pina colada. It's so pretty. Okay, now the next prompt, the hot toddy. This is why I wanted to do this VR, because I know what a hot toddy is. A hot toddy is, you know, like, yeah, it can just be a boozy drink, you know, but a hot toddy, when you make it right when, you know, like you take some tea, maybe some chamomile tea, and you brew it with some ginger, some fresh lemon. Then once it's done brewing, you wait and you put in a dollop of honey and a shot of brandy, or any kind of booze you want. But you're supposed to drink your hot toddy while it's hot and then go to bed right away. And it's a cure-all. Like, if you're running a fever, it'll break your fever. And that's so like, my hot toddy deck is Herb Crafters. And I talked in my last video about how I love this deck, how this is like a medicinal deck. This deck takes care of you. And this is my hot toddy deck. It's the deck for a cold winter's night when you're feeling like you're cold and you need something to warm you up, something to give you a little life, something to make you feel better. So that's my Herb Crafters. And that is my hot toddy deck. Now, let's see, what is up next? Up next is the espresso martini. See, I know what an espresso is. I've never had a martini, not my thing, but an espresso martini, an energy booster deck. And for that, I chose the Next World Tarot. I have had this deck for years. This deck and I, we are friends. We are besties. And this deck has a way of just, I don't know, just changing my perspective, helping me to see things in a more like, yeah, we can do this sort of way, you know? Every time I use this deck, I feel better. I really do feel more energized, and like I can really take on the things that I want and I need to do. I have the big version, but there's also a smaller version. You know, there's a smaller pocket version. And if you're in the market for a new tarot deck, I highly recommend the Next World Tarot. I love this deck. Okay, so that was my espresso martini. Okay, the next prompt is a Manhattan, a deck you take your time with. And for that, I have the Mysteries of the Black Madonna. This deck is a pricey, it's a pricey deck, but it's a powerful deck. Like, I mean, it really is. Each card is an altar that was made by the creator. And then you get like an actual book, a guidebook that goes in and explains the history, the lore, and it puts things, it correlates the divine dark feminine throughout history, you know, like how, you know, like deities change, they get adapted into new cultures, and they travel from place to place. And this deck is a very powerful deck for spiritual work. I use it quite often, but it's a deck that I can only draw a card or two, and then I have to get in the guidebook. I mean, you can read any tarot as just a tarot, right? But you really miss the point of this deck when you don't take your time and when you don't get in the guidebook with it. So this is one of those decks where, like, it's definitely a Manhattan. It's definitely a sip and savor kind of deck. Let me put it back in its bag. Because some decks I don't care so much, you know, but this one I do. Okay, so that was that. The Mojito, or the Palette Cleanser deck. The deck I use to just, when I just need to come back to center. I don't need a happy-go-lucky reading. I don't need a hug. I don't need harsh. I just need something to like wipe it clean. And that is the Spolia. Oh, look at that, this star. How hopeful. This deck isn't harsh, but it's also not warm and fuzzy. You know, it's just, it brings me back to neutral in a very, you know, like, not gentle, but not harsh, but like, this is what it is. And, you know, I don't know. I come to this deck when I just need to come back to myself. Yeah, when I need that, you know? So that's the Spolia. And the next prompt is the Bloody Mary, or the Problem Solver deck. The Problem Solver deck. Where did it go? It ran off. I found it. My Problem Solver deck is the Ritual Tarot. Oh no, snap. All of my stuff is just going flying. This is that version. It's the first edition, second printing. It's the kind that doesn't have anything on the back. It's untitled, unmarked, and I love that. I know this deck backwards and forwards. It doesn't matter that it doesn't have titles, and I personally like that better. It allows me to read more intuitively and get the message that I'm meant to get, as opposed to, you know, the set in stone message. I got this deck, I don't know, like for the however long ago this was, and I used this deck every day for over a year. This deck and I are besties. And if I have a problem, if I have a question, if I'm unsure, I come to this deck because I just know it. I know it really well. I love this deck. I'm waiting on her Oracle. And, you know, yeah. So that is my Bloody Mary Problem Solver deck. The next prompt is called, what is it called? Holy. It's called a French 75. I don't know what that is. I don't know. But it's a deck for special occasions is the tarot prompt. And for that one, I have the Abyssal Tarot. I love this deck. But I only bring this deck out once a year. And that is on my husband and I's anniversary. Like, I don't know why, but that's just how I use it. It's a really emotional deck. It's a really deep, watery, like obviously watery deck. All of these pictures are taken underwater. And I mean, it's beautiful, but I don't know, like I just drown in it. That's awful. I know, right? But like, it's you. Yeah, I don't know. I just can't use it for anything other than that. It just doesn't. Oh, I don't know. So yeah, that's my special occasion deck. It comes out once a year. And today for this video, and even looking at it, I'm like, yeah, no, we'll put you away. But would I ever sell it? I don't know. Probably not. Why would I? The next is the Aviation. I don't know. Or a wild card deck for when you're feeling adventurous. Okay, well, if you want an adventurous deck, Reclaim. This deck, every time I pull it out, it's like, ooh, well, what kind of trauma are we going to delve into today, you know? Like, and it doesn't matter what kind of tarot I pair it with. Like, it's gonna dig deep, and it's gonna pull out things that I had better be prepared to work with, you know? Because if I just like pull it out and pair it with something like, ooh, you know, a nice, sweet, happy reading is not what I'm going to get. I mean, I love it though. It's a beautiful deck. And like, there are some decks that I can pair it with, and it does tame it, you know? And like, but still, it's definitely an adventure deck. It's definitely for like when you don't know what you need to work on, but you need to work on something, you know? Reclaim will take you there, whether you want to or not. And then the last prompt is the usual, the drink of choice and your most used deck. Well, I talked earlier about how I used the Ritual Tarot for over a year straight. So that's my bestie. But also, I know it's another expensive, pricey deck, the Mysteries of Mary, but I use this deck every day. I use this deck every day as part of my spiritual practice, and I just love this deck. It is so nurturing and so supportive. And again, kind of like with the Mysteries of Mary, where you get a really in-depth guidebook and a lot of resources and things to read up on and check yourself, where you can go down your own rabbit hole. It does that, you know? And I'm not Catholic. I don't have a Catholic background, but I love Mother Mary, and this deck just it's good, you know, like it is a mothering, nurturing deck, and it takes you deep if you let it, you know. And I understand where there might be a lot of religious trauma and people who are iffy about it. But I really, really want to encourage you to not use this deck like it's part of Catholicism, you know, like it's whitewashed Christianity, because it's not. And it's so much more. And it has the potential to teach you so much more about yourself and to bring, you know, like, to bring peace and balance, I think. I love this deck. I use it every day. I pull one card every day, and I've had this deck for a couple years, and I just love this deck. So that's next to the Ritual Tarot. This is my most used deck. Oh, snap. So that is... Hey, look at me. That's all of the prompts. I got through all of them and I didn't die coughing. I am so proud of myself. I brought a jug of water. I was prepared. So, yeah, I am done with my hashtag. So yeah, it's been fun watching everyone else, and it was fun to do this and not die. If you watch, please give me a thumbs up. Give me a like, leave a comment, let me know, you know. So, yeah, bye.